Whispers are swirling around the Bronx this week, and the buzz is only getting louder. According to a source close to the clubhouse, Yankees manager BOONE has reportedly reached a tipping point with catcher Austin Wells. Now we're not talking about a public press conference, no big media statement, but behind closed doors. Boone is said to be vocal and frustrated. The rumor he doesn't want Wells on the team anymore. That's right. The same Austin Wells, who was once touted as a promising part of the Yankees' future, might now be on the outs, and if this is true, it marks a significant shift in how the organization views their young talent. Boone, known for protecting his guys in the press, seems to be losing patience, and fast. Could this be about performance, attitude, chemistry in the locker room? Sources aren't saying much, but the body language between Boone and Wells recently has fans and insiders speculating. This kind of tension doesn't just come out of nowhere. Something's brewing, and it might not be long before it spills over. The Yankees are in winnow mode, and Boone clearly doesn't see Wells as part of that immediate plan. What makes this situation even more intriguing is how sudden the tone has shifted. Just months ago, Austin Wells was hailed as one of the more exciting young players in the Yankees' pipeline. His left-handed bat brought some much-needed balance to the lineup, and fans were eager to see if he could rise to the challenge of big league catching. Now things seem cold, really cold. Boone's supposed dissatisfaction isn't just with stats, insiders say. It's about game management. It's about missed signals. It's about a lack of leadership behind the plate, and in a team that's desperate to return to World Series contention, those things matter a lot. Word from inside the clubhouse is that Boone has expressed concern about Wells' preparation, his defensive lapses, and even his body language during key moments. If true, this isn't just a slump. It's a breakdown in trust. Boone needs a catcher he believes in. Right now, it sounds like Wells isn't that guy. And that raises a bigger question. If Boone doesn't want him, where does Wells go from here? A trade demotion, the possibilities are flying, and fans are left wondering if we've already seen the end of the Austin Wells experiment in New York. This kind of internal tension isn't new for the Yankees, but the timing couldn't be worse. With the AL East as competitive as ever and the Yankees chasing October dreams, the last thing they need is a clubhouse distraction. And make no mistake, a Monager player riff, even if it's behind closed doors, is a distraction. Multiple beat writers have hinted that Wells hasn't been quite himself in recent weeks. A drop in confidence, tighter swings at the plate, poor framing behind it. Could it all be connected? Possibly. And while Boone hasn't gone public, some cryptic comments during post-game interviews have fueled the fire. Lines like "we need better execution" or "we have to play smarter baseball" are starting to sound less like generic coach speak and more like veiled messages. Could those be aimed at Wells? Fans think so, and if Boone has truly made up his mind, then we could be looking at a potential roster shakeup in the coming weeks. Boone's relationship with his players is usually built on trust and loyalty, so for this kind of disconnect to surface, it speaks volumes. Something's clearly broken, and Boone might be ready to move on. Of course, it's always tricky to read between the lines when it comes to the Yankees. They're famously tight-lipped, and Boone is a master at media deflection. But the silence around this situation is deafening. There's been no public defense of Wells, no vote of confidence. That alone has fans raising eyebrows. If Boone still believed in Wells, wouldn't he say so? Wouldn't he squash these rumors? Instead, we're getting awkward non-answers and a rotation of other catchers getting increased reps in critical games. Coincidence? Hard to believe. Boone may not say it out loud, but his actions are starting to speak for him. When a young player starts getting phased out in favor of veterans, especially in tight playoff races, it usually signals a lack of faith from the top, and with every passing day, the writing seems more and more on the wall. Maybe Boone's just tired of waiting for Wells to figure it out. Maybe he's already moved on mentally. Either way, this situation is far from settled. And in the high-pressure environment of New York baseball, these things never stay hidden for long. Insiders are now floating the idea that Wells could be trade bait sooner rather than later. With the trade deadline approaching, teams are calling, and the Yankees know they can't afford to waste opportunities. If Boone has indeed lost confidence in Wells, there's little point in keeping him around as a backup. And with several teams reportedly looking for catching depth, Wells could be the piece that helps the Yankees land an impact arm or another bat for the stretch run. The front office may not admit it publicly, but internally discussions have probably already started. Boone's alleged frustration could be the catalyst for a deal. After all, if the manager doesn't believe in the player, it's only a matter of time before the organization acts. And while Wells still has potential doesn't win playoff games, Boone is focused on October. He wants grit. He wants reliability. Right now it sounds like he thinks Wells offers neither. It's a tough pill for fans of the young catcher. But if this rumor holds weight, his time in pinstripes might be shorter than anyone expected. And then there's the question of how the rest of the team views this drama. Catchers are the heartbeat of a pitching staff. If there's even a hint of disconnect between the manager and his backstop, pitchers feel it. There's a rhythm that gets thrown off, communication suffers, chemistry fades. So if Boone is truly pulling away from Wells, it can have ripple effects throughout the roster. Veteran pitchers like Jarrett Cole aren't just going to stay silent. If they feel their on-field dynamic is shifting, already there are murmurs that Wells hasn't quite gelled with some of the staff. That's never a good sign. Boone is known for protecting the flow and culture of his clubhouse. If one piece is disrupting that, he's not afraid to make a change, no matter how young or promising the player is, and Wells might be the odd man out. It's tough, but this is the Yankees we're talking about. This is a franchise built on expectation and results. If Boone is pushing for a change, it's likely because he sees a bigger issue behind the scenes than fans ever will. Some fans are already pushing back against the idea of moving on from Wells. They point to his potential, his flashes of power, his lefty swing, all qualities that are hard to find in a league dominated by right-handed bats. They argue that Boone's frustration might be premature, that young catchers need time to develop. And they're not wrong. Catching is arguably the hardest position in the game. Learning to call games, handle pitchers, hit for average, all while managing the daily grind. It's no small task. But Boone isn't managing for 3 years from now. He's managing for this season. He's under pressure to deliver, and every decision he makes is under the microscope. If he's decided Wells isn't ready, mentally, physically, or emotionally, then it's hard to blame him for wanting someone he trusts. The debate rages on among fans, but inside that dugout the decision might already be made, and that's what makes this rumor so explosive. It suggests not just a shift in lineup, but a shift in organizational thinking. The Yankees may be getting ready to pull the plug, and fast. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. This could also impact how other young players in the system are viewed. If Boone is this quick to sour on a top catching prospect, what does that mean for the rest of the farm system? Is this a wake-up call to step up, or does it reveal deeper issues in player development? The Yankees have long been criticized for the way they handle their young talent, hyping them up only to watch them fizzle or get traded. And if the Wells situation turns into another example, it could add to the narrative that this front office struggles to translate potential into production. Boone might just be the one shining a light on that problem, intentionally or not. His alleged stance on Wells could be part of a larger frustration with how raw players arrive at the big league level. Maybe he's sending a message he wants polish, not promise. And if that's the case, expect more prospects to feel the heat in the coming months. Boone isn't just managing a team, he's setting a standard, and if Wells isn't meeting it, the fallout could be more widespread than anyone realizes. But let's not forget, rumors are just that, rumors. As much smoke as there seems to be around this story, no one inside the Yankees organization has confirmed anything publicly. Boone hasn't named names and Wells hasn't spoken out. It's possible that this is all being blown out of proportion. A couple of bad games, some tense moments, and suddenly the rumor mill goes wild. That's New York. That's baseball. Still, where there's this much chatter, there's usually something underneath. Maybe it's not as dramatic as Boone wanting Wells gone, but even a strained relationship is enough to change a player's future. And if Boone has privately lost faith, it won't take long for the front office to follow suit. We've seen it before, and we'll see it again. For now, all we can do is watch and speculate. But keep an eye on those lineups, those post-game comments, and the trade wire.